Today is September 17th, 2013, and I forgot to pull up the Facebook. But this is the KNKL Show, episode 99. I'm your host, Kienan Lafferty, and let's make sure we actually switch. Oh, we did. Yes, this is the show where we learn to be better artists, and we are professional, completely professional. And today we are going to be talking about how to convert your physical drawing, right, something that you've drawn on pen and paper, scan it into Photoshop, and use the lines to create a finalized picture. But before we get into that, we need to go to the Facebook, pull it up, there we go. Oh, whoops. That's what we're getting to in just a second. Let's not jump the gun now. Let's not jump the gun. I had this open earlier, and because I'm an idiot, I totally closed it down. But let's go ahead and have a look-see. Oh, sexy orc ladies. I love it. Tesigro with his awesome line art coming in as usual. This is too cool of a picture to view just the hand grasping the orby thing. You have this character here who curiously looks like Emma. I really like that, so thank you for that, as well as these awesome sketches, people saying they're being inspired by the show. This is what I created it for, as well as awesome ninja ladies and other Emma fan art. Love that. And this really cool painting too. Love the mood on that one. So once again, just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been submitting their amazing masterpieces to the KNKL Facebook. And for those of you who have not yet come out of your shells, please consider doing so. You can find the link down in the description if you're watching this on YouTube later. Live people, you don't get it. You don't get it. Alright, so with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and move into the tutorial. I hope that you guys can hear me. Alright, so what we're going to be working on today is this lovely picture of Lux, right? And I actually hate Lux. Well, I hated Lux up until I drew this picture of her at Comic-Con on a card for somebody to buy. And I liked it so much that I had my friend, my photographer, take a picture of it right before we sold it. And I decided that I wanted to make sure to preserve the memory. Preserve it. And I thought, hey, that would be a really cool tutorial to talk about how to color something that has been drawn on pencil and paper, or on paper. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into that, shall we? So one of the first things that you're going to do is you're going to have to scan your image, right? And high resolution is good. And that means that once you zoom into it, it's not all pixelated, right? It doesn't look like this, right? If you see those weird pixels and stuff when you're working at a normal size, then that's bad. Make sure you scan at a high resolution or I will come find you and it will not be a happy day. So the second thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to duplicate this background or just double click it. Double clicking it works too. That just makes it so that way it's a layer that you can move around for later because we're going to have to move it above everything eventually. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, and then, oh, let me make sure you guys can actually see that. Usually I keep this out of the view. Okay, Image, Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast. And if you're working with like CS3 or later, they have a new brightness contrast that works, it works okay, I guess. Actually, that works really well. So you're going to want to kick up the brightness and contrast to the point where the lines look more dark, right? So they're more black and the paper is straight up white. And it helps that this picture was actually drawn with pen too, so there's already a lot more contrast going on with the paper. But if you're using if the original drawing was pencil on paper, something that I find useful to do is to use legacy. Use legacy format. And what that does is it's kind of like the old brightness contrast. And it's a little bit more unstable, I guess you could say. It like really kicks up the, see what that does? It like really kicks up the contrast there. And that really helps when you're working with pencil on paper as opposed to straight up pen. In fact, I kind of like the way that that works better as opposed to the last one. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But the main thing that you're looking to do is make sure that you've got black lines and straight up white paper. Okay? Straight white and black lines. Good. Good, very good. And you may not be able to always get like the perfect, you know, line consistency and stuff, and things might get lost, but you can always go back in and you can fix those things up. Okay? So speaking of that, one of the first things I'm going to do is there's a little shadow happening here. Let's go and get rid of that stuff. And that brings us to this point, okay? So now you might be asking yourself, where do I go next? Where do I go next? I'll show you. You click this little button down here, right? Again, it's out of the shot because I'm awesome like that. Click this little button right here, which is the new layer. Another thing that you can do is hit Shift Control N, and that will also create a new layer. And let's call this mask. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to take that new layer and place it behind. Right? Remember, we double clicked. If you do not double click this layer at the beginning, then you will not be able to do this. In fact, let me make sure this is all saving out properly. One moment. Man, this is just a professional daily. Such a professional daily. Alright. I need to just take it off of the screen because I don't want you to see my secret files. My secret files. Okay, it's saved out. Now let's go ahead and get back to it. So we've got our mask, alright, peoples? So there's a couple ways that we can do this. Again, depending on how clean your line art is. Ideally, the cleaner the better, because one way that I like to do it is I like to go through here and just select all of the negative space, right? Everything around the character. So that would be here. Oh, I'm probably going to have to do that manually. Okay, so everything around the character. My tolerance is at 60, and it is set to contiguous, whatever that means. It just makes it so that it works. Okay, so just do that. Then you're going to hit Shift Control I. Shift Control I, and then that basically, because you selected all the negative space, that contracts it and implodes upon itself, and then selects your character. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick a mask color. I usually like to do kind of like a grayish, little bit of blue in there. Why not? And let's fill it. Okay. Now notice nothing happened. And you want to know why nothing happened? It's because we did not set this layer to multiply. We must set this layer to multiply and watch what happens. Whoa, that's amazing. Oh, I bet you didn't know you could do that. We're going into some really complicated stuff on this daily. Oh yeah. So now what you're going to want to do is notice, because of the clean line art, right, we were able to select everything outside of it, pull it in on itself, and then fill it. So that saves you from having to do this. Do this. See, look how much fun I'm having right now, right? This is called manual masking. This is something that you want to avoid at all costs. And while I will say that most of the time, I mean, when I'm working with my stuff, a lot of my lines and stuff tend to be pretty sketchy, and I end up liking to go over them and paint over them anyway. So it's okay to do some manual masking, right? But ideally, if you're working with like a simplified style or like a comic book style, it's really nice to be able to have your lines be clean, especially on the outside edge, right? That's what it's all about. The inside can be as messy as you want, but the outside edges must be clean. This is something that I went into on the tutorial on masking, so consider that, okay? Because manual masking is very fun. It's not fun. Okay. So let's go ahead, and this picture is really high res. I think it's actually too high res. Whoa! 3,000 pixels. Oh, let's knock it down to like 2,000. And I forgot that when I hit 2, it makes it go to the other camera. Brilliant! Alright, so I just kind of knocked down the resolution on the picture just a little bit because it didn't have to be that large and in charge. Okay. So next up what we're doing is we're going in and we're just going to clean up the mask. Clean up the mask. And this is going to help you going forward, and you will see how in just a moment. So I'm just kind of taking care of the edges over here of the hair where the mask is supposed to be open. It's supposed to be open right here as well. And that's good, yeah. That's good. And again, I'm working with my ink brush. For those of you who are interested in procuring my brushes, please check the link down below on YouTube. I always post the links to my brushes. You can check it out using an ink brush. And basically what that does is it's a constant full opacity brush, right? So you don't have to press really hard to make the mask work, because that was something I used to do and I almost died. So don't do that. I almost died. Alright. Alrighty then. So, continuing. Alright, so our mask is looking pretty dang good. I'm liking that. So we've got our character all mashed out. So the reason why I do this at the beginning is because this makes it so much easier to just mask the rest of the character, right? So we've got our main mask. What I'm going to ask you to do now is click this little thing right here, which locks transparent pixels. And now you're going to create your remaining masks over top of it. So I usually like to start with the skin. Let's start with the skin. Now something that I like to do with all of my layers going up is I like to turn them into clipping masks. And basically what that does, what that means is, say we wanted to paint Lux's skin. Let's do that. Looks good. Okay, so say I was painting her skin, right? And then I go, whoops. That was an accident. Well, if you use it as a clipping mask, aka holding Alt and clicking between these two layers right here, see that little icon that appears? Hold Alt, click those layers, and now you can't even paint outside of the mask if you try. So you can be as messy and as crazy as you want. And we like that. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and start painting in the skin. Painting in the skin. Nothing too crazy. And I like to try to allow the, I think it's better for the darker colors. Like, try to work from light to dark. I've noticed works really well. Start with the light colors and work your mask up to the dark. To the darkness. Alright, and if you can, be fairly clean, right? On the skin, I usually like to be clean, so I'll just go back in here and clean up the edges of this hair. Yeah, I usually try to work from light to dark. But if you can, sometimes just being clean with the mask early on will save you some time in the long run. So, aka doing this, right? Just going back in. And again, both my brush and my eraser are set to ink, so you don't kill your hand. Don't kill your hand. That's your moneymaker. You don't want to kill the moneymaker. Alright. Kill the person's annoying dog next door and kill the weeds in your garden, but don't kill the moneymaker. Don't do that. That was an old reference. Okay, so, let's see. Okay, so we got her head there. Let's draw her hand. Let's not forget the hand. And it's just so much easier working like this. I just like doing it this way because I can not worry about going out of the lines and just everything seems to fall into place. Just as I want it to. Okay, so that's about it. I think that's about it for skin. Oh wait, Lux doesn't even, that's not even her hand there. She has a white glove. Alrighty then. Literally all that is skin is her face. Okay, moving on to the next part. Let's do the hair. Now I'm going to kind of move quickly on this. Move quick, like Timo. Because we are feeling fat and sassy today, I'm going to move the hair behind the skin. Again, because we took our time with the skin, we can go in with the hair and we can be lazy and messy and just paint the whole thing like this. Okay, dokie. Artichokes. Someone's asking, what song do I usually hum while I'm working? Just depends. It depends. It could have been, could be Miley Cyrus, Wrecking Ball, or whatever that song is, where they're swinging on it. It could be whatever song I heard. But yeah, lately I've really been enjoying Miley Cyrus, yeah. Hannah Montana. All that good stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue here. Skin. I'm just kidding, by the way. I don't. Just don't. Just don't. I love the reactions I'm getting in the chat saying I'm listening to. Is it called Dragon Ball? No, it should be called Dragon Ball. If it's called Dragon Ball, then that actually makes it kind of cool. You should make that. You should make a spoof of that. All right, so that's done. Let's go ahead and move on into the blue. I really like the blue of Lux's costume. Her blue bodysuit. Whatever the heck that thing is. Alrighty then. And another thing, guys, is this is how I just realized that I could actually do this. Another good thing about having clean line art is that you don't have to go in and manually mask everything. Again, you can do this. You can select the areas that you want to color. In fact, this is actually probably just a good idea to start with. You can just start with this, and then you can go back in and clean it up. Okay, so that looks good. That's good. And these are blue as well. So you can just do that, right? And then let me show you a little trick that I learned. Because usually when I fill like an area like that, there's all these little like fragments and like weird little things on the edges of the lines. You see that? I really don't like this. I really don't like the way that the magic wand works and does this. So, oh yeah, here's a good example. That is like the ugliest thing on the planet. So let me show you how to fix that. When you have your area selected, go to Select, then go to Modify, then go to Expand. And you can expand it by 2 pixels. You can expand it by 3. You know, usually I do 3, I think. That's pretty good. And then it totally takes the thing back. Why does it do that? I thought oh, I hit 3 over here. I really need to get the cam numbers off of that. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to expand it by like 6 pixels. Now we're going to fill it. Okay? I just expanded it by 3 twice. And then you look, and you're like, oh, no more ugly gray line between the line art and your color. Brilliant! Lives have been saved this day. Lives have been saved. So let's go ahead and call that good. In fact, I'm going to put this above everything else. Oh, that looks great. Great. All right. So next up, let's do the white. Let's do all the white of Lux. We've been going for about 20 minutes. Kind of curious as to where exactly this is going. How far I can get this exactly. So I'm going to do it like slightly, kind of like a reddish purple white. I think that'll look nice. Possibly. Let's see. Let's find out. She's got white there, white. Oh, white there, white there. Her breastplate is a silvery white, platinum, whatever, and her glove. Let's not forget her glove. And the staff. Good. Expand it, 6 pixels, and fill it. Check it, make sure. Oh, I might have expanded a little too much. Let's just do 3 pixels this time. Lovely. Lovely. Oh, I just realized I should not have done that one. Okay, so that's gold. That's gold. That's gold. Okay. Oh, let's not forget the cute little hairband. Let's not forget that. Oh, another thing I did wrong is I filled that entire layer on the hair. Whoops. Man. Make sure you're making new layers for all this stuff. Let's call it white. And clipping mask that as well. There we go. Now we're not being stupid. Great. Great. Hair off. Let's do that. Okay. All right. I like that. Save it. Let's move on to the gold, and then I think we're ready to start doing some minor details, and then I'll show you guys how to quickly shade, the way that I like to shade stuff. Yeah, let's move on to gold. Golden oldies. Everything that is gold. Everything that is gold. Did make some slight modifications to her suit. All for the better. Oh, this is gold. Okay. Silver and gold. Silver and gold. We're approaching, you know, that late part of the season, the late part of the year. I always like this part because that means Christmas is coming up. All the good holidays, all the good ones. It starts with Halloween, then we go into Turkey Day, then we go into Christmas, and it's an awesome time. It's an awesome time. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, let's get the gold on there. I usually like to start gold with a dark brown. Much like this. You will see why coming up in the next episode. Just kidding, you're going to see it today. You're going to see it today, but you knew that. You knew that. Oh! Ha! How dare you not see you could go there. I don't see how that selection goes into that part. I don't see how that works. Oh, right there. That's where it was. You gotta watch that stuff, man. You gotta watch it. Alright, good. Now let's just manually mask the remainders. Right? The remaining things. Like this. And this. Looking oh so good. And during this time, I'm going to go ahead and take some questions. Question catapults, please. For now, we're going to go for about 15 more minutes, and then we're going to end episode 99. People are asking a couple questions. One was, how do I expand again? Okay, let me show you. Okay, so you go to select. The way that I like to remember this is, you're making a selection with your magic fairy wand. Go to select, modify, and expand. And then you can expand it by 3 pixels, right? And what I'm doing, like later on, as I itch my nose, is I actually set it up to a hotkey. Set it up to a hotkey, so basically all I have to do is hit the function key, and then it automatically expands my selection. And I have done tutorials on that, so go back and check them. Or you can just do a quick Google search, and it'll tell you how to set up custom actions. It'll save you time. Okay, so let's take care of the face as well. I'm going to do the face white parts. So that includes the teeth. That includes the teeth and the eyes. The eyes. Lovely. Okay, that looks good. Looks really good. Let's see, how did I imagine her eyes being? Imagine them being like, kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. And let's take care of the irises as well. She's got blue eyes, right? I assume? Yeah, she's got blue eyes. Baby blue eyes. Someone's asking a great question. Coming in from Dordua. He's asking, do you usually like to focus on one drawing at a time, or do you like to jump between several different drawings? The way that I work is I like to work on one thing at a time. However, I do believe that it's very important to introduce variety into your work schedule. Hence the 26-34 rule, right? Things that I talk about. I actually rest more than I work, and I get more done throughout the day than I used to when I worked all day. And the reason why this is because I work for 26 minutes, then I take 34, the rest of the hour, out of it, and I'll go do something else. Like I'll go downstairs and I'll go work out, or I'll go wash some dishes, or I'll go take a walk, right? And what this does is it gets me in a mood where it just like refreshes everything. It refreshes my mind, and it allows me to come back, and then I just focus back in on my drawing, and I'm ready to go. And I actually did this today. It's actually it's challenging, right? It's hard to do it. But I did it today, just like right on. Like as soon as the 26 minutes was up, I was out the door. I was walked away from the computer, right? I wasn't on YouTube, or you have to walk away from your current workspace, right? I'm not looking at YouTube. Sometimes I do, but ideally I don't, right? So as soon as that 26 minutes is up, I'm out. And then 34 minutes, I just use my phone, and I just set a timer, And when 34 minutes is up, I'm like in my seat and I'm ready to go again. So I highly recommend you guys try that out. Check it out for yourselves. I can't tell you what it's done for me. It's literally changed my life. And I love it. I love it oh so much. And where did I put this white? Okay. I thought I did not put that on its own layer. I was about to go crazy. Oh. Well. Well. Okay. Alright. I'm always so finicky about these eyes. Let's flip it. Let's make sure everything looks good. Oh, yeah, that actually looks kind of nice. The eyes do look a tad bit strange here. See if we can fix that up. If you can make it look good from this angle, it'll look amazing when you flip it back the other way. For those of you wondering what I'm doing here, I actually just flipped the canvas. Again, also set up as a hotkey. F2, save your life. It just flips the canvas and it allows you to see all the mistakes and just get fresh eyes on your canvas. And it's really cool. It is really cool. And you can do that manually by going to Image, Adjustments, or Image, Rotate Canvas, Flip Canvas Horizontal. There you go. There you go. However, do I like... Oh! How do I like that? The lag killed me. Yeah, that's going to have to do for now. It's going to have to do. Alrighty. So it looks like we're all set up for masks. And I'm going to show you guys how to really quickly shade and have some fun with your drawings. Oh, I missed a gold piece. I missed a gold piece. Let's go and fix that. That would have been tragic. What the heck is that? A little bit of gold in there too. Oh, all this gold like overflowed. Uh-oh. Did I expand it too much? I wonder what happened there. Alright. Some other great questions coming in. A Stone Pro is asking, hey Keenan, what are some questions I might face during an interview? I recently finished an art test and they want me to come in for an on-site interview. Oh, that's great! Congratulations, Stone Pro. That is very good. Basically, the thing I want to urge you to do with your on-site interview is like if you're bringing in a portfolio to look at, make sure you have a portfolio ready to look at. I printed mine out and actually put it into like a presentation, like just like a nice presentation for them. And the second thing you want to do is make sure that you just, I know they say it all the time, it's really cheesy, be yourself, all that stuff, but be ready to just understand that they're calling you in because you obviously have the skills that they're looking for. So make sure you use that to kind of pump yourself up and be confident. You kind of almost got it like 90% already. Like the interview, by the time they're willing to waste their time and bring you in for an on-site interview, it's almost like a formality. So you almost want to think of it as basically you got it in the bag and all you got to do is just show up and do your thing and you got the job. So I'm very happy to hear about that. But some questions that you're going to be getting are, some questions that I got in my interview for Riot was, they wanted to know about like my experience and stuff, where I studied and what my work experience was. And of course I was self-taught, so I was like, well, I didn't go to college. I just taught myself, but I worked here and here and here and here, illustrated these books. So just be ready to talk about your experiences and kind of what you have to bring to the table. Talk about kind of what you expect to get out of the job too, because I think that's one of the things that they asked me too. They're like, why do you want to work here? In fact, that's the question that we asked everybody when we were interviewing for Riot, is like, why do you want to work here out of all the other companies that are out there? What specifically motivated you to get a job here? And have a good response for that. Because if you say, oh, well, I want to work here just because I need a job, that's probably the worst thing you could say. Don't say that. Don't say, oh, just times are tough and I just need a job, right? You gotta, do some research. Like, what are these guys all about? What do they pride themselves on? And then, yeah, if anything, just say, hey, I'm looking for a great work environment with awesome people to hang out with and do my thing, right? That's probably the best thing That's probably a good blanket statement that'll cover it all. Because that was really what the interview is to make sure that you're not just some crazy person, right? They want to know who you are and that you're an actual human being that they can see and touch and not a computer screen. So just, yeah, do that stuff and be happy. All right, I'm just finishing up these little things here. And we're going to go ahead and move into some shading. Shading. Let's see. Graphics 6 is asking, have I ever tried Krita? It's Photoshop on steroids in terms of painting. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. No, I have not tried it. I am stuck in my ways with Photoshop. I've heard that there's tons of other awesome programs that can give you texture and all that good stuff. But Photoshop just seems to do it for me. So, alright guys, so let's go ahead and I'll show you a couple things that I really like to do for shading. And let's start with the blue bodysuit because I think that's really cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my gradient brush. And this is basically how I shade not only the comic, but when I am creating art just in general, even like the complicated splash paintings I was doing for Riot, I would start like this. I would start by taking the gradient brush and then just making gradients around the color, right? And then figuring out the form and the shape through that, right? It's really, really easy to do once you kind of lay it in like that. And you can make the brush smaller. This is what I really like about it. Is you can make the brush big for soft transitions, and then you can make it small for like cast shadows, like that. You see that? Brilliant! Brilliant. Love it. So yeah, definitely do that. Definitely do that and have some fun with it. So I just go through and I just start with like, you know, just soft things, soft transitions, then I'll go in and I'll do hard transitions as well. And then you can go in and you can do, you know, like shines, like I think the bodysuit's like kind of shiny. So you can do like one of those things, you can put a little one there. You know, just kind of, it's all about just doing subtle changes and subtle treatments to the color at the beginning. Okay, dokie. Let's go ahead and move up to here. Do some of that, and then you can even go in on the other side and put in reflected light, which I would highly recommend you do. And oh, the other thing that's really important is make sure that you lock these layers, otherwise that will happen, what you just saw there. Otherwise that will happen. So lock it so that way you can't go outside of what's already laid down in the blue. Okay? And that is good. Alright, so let me show you a little bit about reflected light. So basically I like to think of reflected light as whatever the background is. And since it's white, let's just kind of make it like a grayish, you know, it's going to turn this blue bodysuit kind of gray on the edges, right? Like this. You're going to get that, and you're going to get, oh, not that. You're going to get that. Just like that. Little tiny edges and things like that. Again, subtle. Subtlety. Subtlety is the name of the game. A little on there. And that's already looking cool. See how it already kind of describes the material that it is just by doing that? Kind of just lay it down. Lay down the law like that. In fact, I'm going to make sure I kind of fix this stomach shape a little bit. It should look a little bit more like so. It should look a little bit more like that. There we go. There we go. So it's subtle things like that. Did you notice that? Let's zoom in on that. So notice what I did. I went from this, right, where it's almost kind of like a round. The way that I'm seeing it is it's kind of like it just rounds her entire stomach. But what I did to add definition was I just took the light and I put it on this side and then I took the shadow, right? And it basically says it rounds and it goes in like that and it comes up again and it rounds back around. And that gives us some nice definition in her belly area. And I like it. I like it. Okay, let's move on to the skin. Go on to the skin. And I'll probably just finish up the skin and then I'll call it good. Because this isn't a huge tutorial on, you know, how to paint an entire character. But someone's asking a good question over here. He's saying, if you're trying to learn someone else's techniques, is that called being self-taught? And yes, that's basically what I did. growing up, I just looked at what everybody else was doing and was like, hey, I like that. I want to learn to do that. And then I just took it from there. That's basically all self-teaching is just saying, hey, I like the way that that guy does it. I'm going to learn how to do that. And then I'm going to take what I learned from that and like add it to my style. You know, it's like you put it into this big katamari, as I call it. You roll it into a big katamari, all the styles of everybody around you, and then you make your own. And you make your own thing, and then you launch it into the sun or whatever that guy does. Katamari, the game. I had never played it. All I know is the analogy is really good. So it serves its purpose. Okay, so let's go ahead and color in the skin really quickly here. Also, did not lock the pixels on that. Shame on me for doing so. All right, there we go. And again, soft transitions make the frickin' brush big. Make it big. Make it nice and big. And then cast shadows make the brush small. Voila! You are artiste. You know what you do. You know what you do. You can go back in here like that. Cool. Easy, huh? Easy. Super easy. Let's give her some blush. Give her some blush. A little bit on the ears is nice. Some on the cheeks always looks good. Always just makes your girls look nice and cute. Gotta love that. Excelente. There we go. That looks good. Alright, now let's put a little bit more light up in here. I'd say that looks pretty dang good. Cast shadows down there. Love it. Love it. And see, basically I'm just going in, kind of cutting back in, seeing what looks right. Feeling it out. Feeling it out. That's what painting is all about. It's all just working rough, working messy at the beginning, then you refine it as you go further on into it. Alrighty, peoples. So, with that, let me make sure there's not any more really awesome questions I'm going to miss out. Do I know Bob Ross is not an awesome question, but actually that is an awesome question. Sorry, I do know Bob Ross, but I've heard some people compare me to him, but unfortunately I do not have the fro going on. Do not have the fro going on, any of that stuff. Let's see here. I think that's about it. I think that is about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end today's episode. Thank you for joining me live for the KNKL Show, episode 99. I do apologize. It was actually a little bit sketchy compared to other episodes. But here, we just keep it rolling. We keep it rolling. The show must go on, right? And we have been going for 99 episodes, and I'm super excited for KNKL Show number 100. You guys are in for an awesome treat. Been working hard on all that good stuff. But that is a surprise, and I can't tell you any more about it. Fortunately, you're just going to have to anticipate the night away. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for Whatever Wednesday, and we'll just continue on our merry way. Until then, you guys take care. See ya.